Okay, I almost just turned super stuttery. I almost turned up the volume there. I was like, I need to hear myself louder. Apparently, that would change anything. It's also kind of a this is a video, so I guess I was in that YouTube stage where I need to make sure and remember that I turn up the volume or whatever. I don't know. That was that. So this is Library Hall plus reading recommendations. And it's kind of ironic that this falls the day after the comic hall. You know, not the comic hall. Technically, it was it was the replacement. So technically, it wasn't a comic hall, but they came in yesterday, right before the library closed, which really pissed me off. And honestly, that I wonder why they're doing it every day now. Like, you gotta ask yourself that. Of course, this is. Gotta rip it open. Okay, here we go. First one up is this one I had seen, and I guess when I oh, okay. When I got this one, I think it was one of those things where I thought I had saw it at Newberry. I couldn't get it, or it was no, it was like a bargain bin or something. I don't know why. I thought it was something really weird when I ordered it. And then I realized, oh yeah, this one didn't get too great of reviews. This is Steve and Mrs. Peel. I just the oh yeah thing was I just not the oh yeah, but whatever the hell was that spaced out the hit TV show The Avengers, which was like a British television show, not at all related to the actual Avengers. It was a huge ass coincidence. Got a lot of quote reviews, but those sometimes don't mean anything. Boom Studios, so I don't know. The Wicked and the Divine, Volume 4. And in this one, I didn't think I would find. Actually, I think this is probably out of print too. Actually, I know it's out of print, and that is East of West Year 1 hardcover. It's in perfect condition. This library ever feels. If this library is ever starting to go out of business, I can't think words apparently. About to go out of business, I could sell this and make a pretty penny, I bet. And they'd make $100 probably, but a little bit more than that, I feel. Now I'm going in a weird order because usually I do the ones in the library themselves and then the interloans, but then I did it that way. I mean, all you guys don't even notice the difference anyways, so doesn't matter. It's a lot this time again. Now this one's kind of funny because I knew they had it at the library, but I wanted the bigger library edition. I would say it's about the size of this, maybe even bigger. I know it's bigger. And that is Sin City Volume 1, The Hard Goodbye. Now, I just decided to get it at the library itself because on the interloans it's still pending, which is really annoying because it's like, come on. Jujutsu Kaisen said 12 right there. I don't know why they do that. It's just gonna confuse people that think it's volume 12. But no, volume 2. Sad. And Hellsing, volume 2. No, sorry, 7. No, I said volume 2. I know it wasn't volume 2. Below volume 1. So with the Hellsing one, I was a bit confused because I thought the way I remember it, because I can't remember what volume left off on, I just forget to to remind myself, put a little note on my phone, and I don't think I noticed the difference. On the way I was able to tell a difference is because Volume 4 was a hardcover for whatever reason. It's supposed to fall. But yeah, for whatever reason, Volume 4 was the only hardcover they have also, and the rest are all softcover. It's kind of weird. And I was able to remember that because I know I had read the hardcover. The Goon, Nothing But Misery. This is a reread, along with Low. Low Volume 1 is also a reread. I just completely forgot about this one. This one, first of all, it's Celebrate Recommender, but this is the one I really hate. I mentioned that last time, how I was only getting this one because it was Rick Remender, and I was like getting Rick Remender kick after getting 2 of them. And it's weird, but that's the way I am sometimes, so all the time now. But I remember not liking this one at all. But let's see if I'll like it the 40th reread. The Goon again. Oh, The Goon is a reread. I didn't like it the first time. It was really, really odd. It's by Eric Powell, who did Eddie Game, the Eddie Game book I read, and I know it's 2 completely different things. But yeah, I remember I just don't like it at all. Which I don't know why, because everyone seems to really love that series. They considered that and Hellboy to be one of the Dark Horse comics' classic books. This one's a weird one. This is Brandon Sanderson. I had never heard this book before seeing it at the library. Brandon Sanderson's Dark One by Vault Comics. And I think Vault Comics is the one that, Thinking Critical, like, he's like, they don't make bad books. They've never made, like, a terrible, truly awful book. They're usually, like, knocking out of the park. So I'll take his word for it. Rip it open again. Oh, yeah, I did get a movie. And that is Hellboy. Ironically enough, I was just talking about Hellboy, and it's Hellboy. That was super ironic. I completely forgot about this. So, this looks like it is the extended cut. It actually should be. Yep. Extended cut. It's the only version of the movie I wanted to get. So, the original Hellboy, too, not the new one. What I'll probably do is I'll watch the Hellboy movies. And because I got a Hellboy movie, I decided to get Hellboy Weird Tales, Volume 1. Looks like this is, is that like all of, I wonder if that's all the people who, yeah, I think it is. So it's a lot of short stories, maybe? Oh, they definitely had this one for a long time. Yep. Unless there's just a lot of people that, like, it was like a huge anthology thing, maybe. Let's see. No, it is a, it's like a bunch of short stories. So, yeah, Weird Tales, Volume 1. For whatever reason, when cause I never picked that one up because I thought I think it takes place after one of the books, and, like, the chronological order was weird. I always thought that was, like, a huger book, like a taller, not a taller, like a thicker book. I don't know why I thought that. Death of X. Nothing really to say about that one. Yet another reread, and that is Trinity. Along with, so, Wicked and Divine, I've mentioned before, was a reread too. But I didn't mention it this time. And I'm kind of trying to rush, but not really. Like, I don't want to go too fast, obviously, but I'm also kind of like, don't want to take too long, you know? But I'm over-explaining. But Trinity, I just did not like. I'm not a huge Kurt Busiek fan, in general. Why did they say do not remove the slip when you kind of have to? Alright, put that all out. There we go. 2 Civil War tie-ins. That's the Wolverine one, which I heard was the best of the bunch. And also, this one too, Amazing Spider-Man. For the longest time, I didn't get the Amazing Spider-Man one because I think it takes place after, not takes place, but it's like, I had the late 90s series that this is a part of, and, I wanted to get everything at once, but they kind of can't. Doctor Strange and Dracula, the Montesi formula. I wish I had watched the movie before. Maybe I hope to watch it this weekend. But probably not. Be able to, I won't be able to. Uncanny X-Men, Volume 1. It's the Colin Bunn run. A lot of these I got because of the author, and it was running out of books that they had. Green Arrow, Volume 1, The Midas Touch. So I'm probably going to actually, read the Jeff Lemire one. And by the time I get to that, it'll be well after my birthday, definitely. But I'm gonna be going in order too, because they have all the volumes leading up to the Jeff Lemire run. I think after that the series ended. In fact, I think it did. I think it's like, no, it's like 18 to 37. I don't know. I remember it was. I remember seeing it, and it was like, oh wow, it's a lot of books. Now I hope that this one is the. Ooh, it says return. Yes, the first IDW adventure. So they have the IDW collections for Ninja Turtles and most recently Sonic, but they are way overpriced because the book is a bit taller and it's hardcover, but they are way too pricey, and getting just one of them is ridiculously priced. Like $60 and it's like 232 pages. It's ridiculous because it's oversized. Again, like that East of West book. But this one, I was glad to find out, is actually what I thought it was. Yeah, that one. Oh, and sorry, I wonder if the Donatello, because they have the one-shots, Donatello one, the Michelangelo, for all 4 turtles. And I wonder if, if I have to read it before anything, or, you know. Front cover is bent. Oh no, they did a damage noted. And then finally, Frank Miller's Ronin. Book that I just never got. I don't know why. This is another one that a lot of people are saying is good. I think because the 47 Ronin one I didn't like that much. That was a Dark Horse one. I believe it's the same story as this one. It looks to be the same. And I was kind of like, I guess I was Ronin'd out, I guess. Yeah, nice fat stack of books. And it was a bit, for whatever reason, I was like, did I get all the books? Because I didn't have it, they didn't have the rubber band around it like they usually do. Yeah, I completely forgot I got that Hellboy movie. It's kind of funny. Alright, let's put the fall again. Yeah, I know. I cannot put two words together. But now on to the reading recommendations. I don't know why I keep calling it that. First up is the Eddie Gain book, like I mentioned before. I completely enjoyed that one. That was everything I wanted in the Eddie Gain, that kind of genre and more. I was skeptical to get that book at first because I thought it would just be explaining and showing, and then showing rather than telling, or no, tell rather than show, and they just be like, okay, this is Eddie Gain on March 24th, and just be like a documentary basically. But it wasn't. It was an actual, like, I could see it becoming an actual movie. It was kind of like that. It wasn't a documentary like they do with a lot of these types of books. It was an actual, like, actual dialogue with the characters. You actually got inside their heads and everything like that. It's everything I love in those kinds of books, again, and more. And I highly recommend it, like, highest recommendation, if you like those sorts of books, if you haven't read it already. And it's probably my favorite Eric Pello book. But the only thing I can compare it to is The Goon. That's the reason why I got The Goon, because of how much I enjoyed Eddie Gain. I was like, yeah, let's give The Goon a second chance. Hellsing, it's one of those books where if I got in the wrong book, like I got in volume 7, and I was supposed to be getting volume 6, I wouldn't know. I have no idea what's going on in the series. It's way too much going on, but I don't care. It's a nice, palate cleanser when I read, a really long-ass book, and I still want to get another book read or whatever. It's a nice one to, again, nice palate cleanser. Because a lot of these I'm trying to read that. I want to read them at least one chapter, one issue of each book per day. So I can get a good stack of books finished by the next time I go to the library. One Punch Man, kind of another one I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot more. I understand a lot. Super stuttery. I understand a lot more in One Punch Man than I do in Hellsing. And then Jujutsu Kaisen was a very good series. Obviously, I got volume 2. Blue Exorcist. I didn't get this past time, and not because I didn't like it. I used to like this book, but I just completely forgot because they have it in storage. I don't know why they don't. I don't know why they did that. And they have no room. They have to just have so much manga and so much books in general, and not a whole lot of room. But yeah, I forgot about to get that one. I'm not too annoyed about it because again, it wasn't one I was like super loving. Kind of, I feel like it's kind of not going at a snail's pace, but going a bit slower than it should. And they're just making it so they can get to whatever volume they're on now. Let Him Go, that was the movie, the Western one I had watched before, and I'm so glad I rewatched that, because that was a lot better than I remember it being. And it proves that rewatching and rereading things I didn't like before are sometimes a good idea, because I'll enjoy them a lot more the second time, and, you know. I highly recommend that one, too. Very fast paced, too. Like, I was, like, at the hour and a half mark, and I thought it was at the hour mark. I was like, wow, we're almost done? And I was kind of disappointed. I wanted more of this story, even though I had seen it before, so I know how it ended. And yes, it was a Western. I was right. Civil War Frontline. I really wish that they... Not wish, but I really hope that what they did was... And it's... What I thought would have helped is they made it a lot. The page count is 34 pages per chapter, except the last one, the last issue. I feel like if they cut one of the, because the stories I liked, it's an anthology, so you get like 3 to 4 different stories per issue. The last one I could have cut entirely. The last one was just like, oh, here's the Vietnam War, but we're gonna put we're gonna make allusions to Civil War because that's not annoying and preachy and ham-fisted and heavy-handed or anything like that. No, let's do that. And I remember hating that the last time I read it too. Like, if you're gonna do like an allegory, at least make it so it goes over my head like it did for Civil War itself. I mean, well, I knew it was brother versus brother, but they're going for that. That's why I call it Civil War. And I knew why it was called Civil War, but there's a few other connections that I didn't notice until I had it explained to me via Comic Pop's review. I'm one of those people that doesn't mind Civil War. I actually really enjoyed it. Not as much as the last time I read it, but the second and first time, oh gosh, not second and first, I read it like 50 times. To go to show you how much I like that series. Miniseries. But this one, I feel like I won't reread it again. If I want to reread the Civil War, like everything from Civil War, I'll probably just skip that one. And a lot of it was just because it's so damn long. It was like, it took me like so much longer to read than I thought it would. And it was like, can this book just end already? And then I was ending, and then I just finished the first of 4 anthology stories in one issue. Fables. Oh yeah, I could get the next volume. So the whole reason for why I thought I couldn't get the next volume in the series was because they moved to a different cataloging system. But I found out today, and I'm glad I asked, or they asked me, because they were asking me how everything was going. So I'm like their number one customer. So like, obviously gonna want to know how it works out for me. And they said that I can still do it through the old system too. I think is what they were saying, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, of course they would. They didn't technically have a name for it. So Fables, I did really enjoy, but I will definitely be in the next volume, from the library. But it's gonna they're gonna come out with, actually it came out this week, I believe, today I think, the newest issue of Fables, which I'm like 100 issues behind on. So I think by the time I get to that point, they'll definitely will have it at the library. So it'll be all good. Star Trek Green Lantern, I thought was pretty good. I mean, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I actually knew anything about Star Trek. I really got it for Green Lantern, and because of the kind of insanity, if you will, of a Star Trek Green Lantern crossover. It's kind of like when Archie crossed over with Punisher. You wouldn't exactly expect that to happen, even though it could technically happen, because Punisher isn't having powers the same way how both Green Lantern and Star Trek are both in space. They both relate to space. And you could technically see Punisher appearing in an Archie comic, because even though they're different characters, you could see it like an alternate universe or something, and I believe it is. And also, like, he doesn't have any powers, so it's not too ridiculous. If he had appeared in an Archie comic, no one would bat an eye. But because he appeared in Marvel first, everyone is, like, going insane. And like, oh my god, it's so weird, you know? I do want to read that. It's so stuttery. I really want to read that crossover. But I think it's, like, not available anywhere. Because it was a crossover between Marvel and the other publisher. I think they have to, like, pay the other person to release it. And you know how they are. That. Promethea was just so stupid and just terrible. Like, honestly, I hate this book. I hate this entire series. If it wasn't by Alan Moore, no one would know about this series, and no one would care about this series. But it's Alan Moore who wrote Watchmen, so everyone enjoyed it too, but everyone, I guess, even then, like, I can't say, like, anyone besides Near My Condition and Gem Mint has read it. I don't even think Comic Pop has read it or even knows about it. I don't think I've ever heard them talk about that series or reference it, whatever. And there's a big reason for why. It's one of those books that is flew under the radar and for a damn good reason. Nobody cares about it, except, and if you do, obviously I understand if you do care about it. I'm not like offending it. I'm not saying this to offend anybody. I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's a book that nobody cares about, except for those who, like, grew up with it or whatever, or just wanted more of Alan Moore. It was just so stupid. It was so... And I did enjoy parts of it. I just think when I go too into the mythos and mythology and the backstory behind the character you don't really care about, I didn't like that. I wish we had, followed the actual main characters. It's kind of like if with Wonder Woman, if they just, like, say, well, no, it's Shazam, because it's a better comparison. With Shazam, they didn't focus on Blake Batson. They just focused on, like, the backstory of Shazam for 5 whole volumes, basically. I mean, basically, it was 5 whole... It was like 3 volumes. But 3 of the 5 volumes, or 2 out of 5... No, it's 3. 3 of the 5 volumes that aren't technically following the character and aren't really moving the plot forward, that's not good. Could have cut all that out and I wouldn't have cared. Actually, I would have been happy with it. I guess the series would have been 2 volumes. Maybe just like a 12-issue miniseries, honestly. And I was so glad to finish it. And I'll probably never ever go back to that series ever again. Not even with my whole, let's go back and reread this as it's been worked before and you liked it a lot better, like, no. I'm not gonna be like that for this book. The Beast Boy Loves Raven one, that's the young adult one. It's still pretty good. Kami Garcia is not like the best online, like not the best person herself, but she writes a pretty good series, a pretty good series, actually, a pretty good book. Sorry, I was looking at the time and I was like, it's 12:46, and these 6s looked like 8s to me, so my eyes kept deceiving me. I was like, wait, no, 6 was an 8, no, it's 6, no, it's an 8, no, it's a 6, and 6 is 6. X-Men. What was the X-Men one? Oh yeah, First Class. It was alright. It was very... It wasn't... I was surprised with how, that was all ages. Because usually when they... Especially because this one was... Stuttered again. Especially because this one was a digest form. I thought it'd be like for, like, little kids. Like the ones that they make for... Like a Spider-Man one, they have like a Marvel Adventures. They have like, their kid-friendly version of like little kids. And then they have the normal one that's for teens and up, but really it's for anybody. But it's more like mature themes, and then the kid one is just like cartoons, basically. And I thought that God, I thought this is what it would be, but it was pretty. It was like I wouldn't be able to tell a difference if you had told me that. Again, like I was surprised. I think I said before, but as a story itself, it's just alright. I mean, if you have really little kids, I'd say get it for them. It'd be a good little gift, but I think they'd be bored with it. I mean, I was bored with it, and I usually have like a very high tolerance for boring books, especially for Marvel and DC for the most part. I don't want to single them out, but like when I hear a book is boring, obviously I won't pick it up. But sometimes I won't feel that it is, and if I'll read a book and they'll say it's boring, and they'll be like, no, I didn't really think it was, but yeah. Over-explaining, I know. Could cut all that out and it'd been better. Speaking of cutting things out. Adventures Ultron Forever. Another one I was just like, it's alright. It wasn't anything special. It's very forgettable. I remember almost nothing from it. And I actually, at the end of this book, I was like, why is it called Ultron Forever again? I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he did appear in the book. I couldn't remember. And honestly, right now, I'm doubting myself that I actually did see him in the book. I know the storyline feel like it was about him, like going back in the past and like making sure he didn't do something, whatever. It's a lot like Age of Ultron, but shitty. And I like Age of Ultron. If I liked Age of Ultron, I didn't like. And I'm not talking the movie. I'm talking the comic. If I liked the Age of Ultron comic, I didn't like Ultron. What was Unbound or Forever? Ultron Forever. That's saying a lot. Uncanny Inhumans is further proof of why why these characters are insanely unpopular and no one gives a shit about them. Again, you do, obviously, good for you, but no one seems to care because they don't even have a series currently. I actually think they're still killed off. Spoilers, but they haven't a long time ago. I did want to get that Inhumans versus X-Men one. They just didn't seem to have it. Meet the Skrulls, another one where I was really enjoying it. It was another one I highly recommend. I'm not going to say too much about it other than that. And it did end. Oh, no, it was actually, no, it ended, not really. I think it's continuing, I don't know. I know it's not, but I think they have like a crossover or something. I think it leads into Empire, I mean. I don't know. Probably does, honestly. I might just pick up Empire because of that. Well, it's written by a different person. Nemesis, that was a reread and it's just as enjoyable as the first time. I think Mark Millar gets way too much shit. Especially from people who hate him for the same reasons to like another writer. Yes, that's actually real. And to be fair, that I don't think I don't know. I think they do. But I want to say that there's like a technicality in that because it's comic pop, and comic pop seems they absolutely hate Mark Millar's writing, but they like Tom King's writing, which is just so funny to me because it just makes no sense to me, honestly. It's like not liking Stan Lee, but you like Jack Kirby. And I mean the writing, not the person themselves. Unholy Grail by Colin Bunn wasn't terrible, but it wasn't one I would recommend. It wasn't one I go back to read again or anything like that if I forgot what happened to me, which I did. It was just alright. If you really wanted to see a Colin Bunn King Arthur book, then go nuts, but you probably will come out disappointed. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just in the middle. Wicked and Divine, it was just as good as I remember it, and again, I got the book. And finally, Superman, The Dark Side. Another one where I feel like if they trimmed some of the fat, it would be a really damn good book, and a lot more people would know about this series. I didn't know anything about this series, and I actually, when I picked up the book, when it came in, I was surprised to find out it was an Elseworld story. I was like, oh, it is, that's right too. That's right too, it's right too. It is, I didn't know that. It was just, because each issue was 54 pages, and I feel like each issue could have been 25 pages, and it would have been just fine. Because a lot of it's exposition, a lot of it is explaining, and like, needlessly explaining what they're doing, like, all that shit that you would expect from a Silver Age book, but this was the 90s. And I don't think I reviewed from last time Superman for Tomorrow. Just in case if I didn't, I think I did. Well, I didn't like the For Tomorrow one. Yeah, I did actually review it. That's right too, I remember now, because I remember saying it was very fast-paced, and I was glad that it was. Because, I would have hated a lot more if it wasn't. Because like, each issue of For Tomorrow was like, took me like 2 seconds to read, honestly. That's it. That's it. This video is 30 minutes long.